Well, hello there. This is Gary Gnu from the Great Space Coaster, and you're watching Megapodtastic.
Hi, this is Jeffrey Combs. You're watching Megapodtastic, and you honor us with your presence.
We got something for you. We got something for you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapodtastic. 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 Megapodtastic.
Good morning, Megapodlings. It's Crazy Joe.
And this is Jacob.
Welcome to another Megapodtastic podcast. And, going into tonight, I was thinking, I don't have much to talk about. But then we started making our list, and we got a couple things here.
Absolutely.
And we've got a couple people in our house. Trey Needham is in our house. I'll do my Dana Carvey as Johnny Carson. Trey Needham is in our house. Gary from Metro Obelisk Radio is in our house. Bobby Bolin is in our house. Good to see you guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And we do have a bunch of predictions. So, and we don't have any giveaways this day. I said we were going to be giving away copies of the movie X last week. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been told they shipped, but I haven't seen a shipping notification yet. So, I don't know when we're going to be giving away those copies. I will remind you that the last time we had a giveaway from A24, they were months late. Months. And X is an A24 title. So I don't know if we're looking at a repeat. we will see.
Time will tell.
But the copies of Saint Maud did eventually show up. So yes, they were greatly delayed, but everybody who won did get their copy of Saint Maud in the end. So I am confident everyone will get their copy of X in the end. So should we get right to predicting, since we got a few things to predict?
Yeah. I think we definitely got enough to suffice.
You got a knife?
I do have a knife.
It's not a knife. This is a knife. Have you? Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen it, because obviously you're a bit younger. Have you ever seen Crocodile Dundee?
Have not.
Crocodile Dundee was huge in 1986. When that movie came out, everybody watched Crocodile Dundee. Everyone loved Crocodile Dundee. That movie was huge. And I didn't watch it for like over 30 years. Then I rewatched it and I'm like, man, there's a lot of homophobia in this movie.
Oh my.
There's quite a bit. I don't know that this movie plays today, but anyway.
Did you rewatch it? Because there's 3 original Crocodile Dundee movies, and then there's that weird Lionsgate movie, right? The
Honorable Mr. Dundee, or the
there
most
it
excellent.
is.
God,
Yeah.
and that movie was a piece of shit. That movie was so bad.
That's fantastic.
Like the first 2 Crocodile Dundees, I will tip my hat to them and say they were good for the time they were made. Like I said, there's a lot of homophobia in there, which doesn't play so well today.
Right.
And to be fair, that's
true of a lot of movies though from that era.
Right, and I gotta say, it wasn't right then either. I mean, it really wasn't. Yeah. But the time was different. So if you look at it through the veil of 1986, that was a great movie at the time. The Honorable or Most Excellent Mr. Dundee, whatever it was called, that was just a piece of shit. Anytime. And actually the same thing with Crocodile Dundee 3, which came out like about 20 years too late and wasn't very good. So
see, according to the fabled How I Met Your Mother, he went Crocodile Dundee. So you're saying that is not the case?
You went out for a second. It was that. What was the line?
what does he say? Rank Crocodile Dundee 3. It holds up.
I would say it does not.
It does not. Right.
But at the same time, the movie was kind of what you expect it to be. Like,
Right.
I remember when it came out, I went to see it, and a friend of mine was like, "That movie's gonna suck. That movie's gonna be so bad." And I saw it, and I came back, and I'm like, "Look, it's not good. Let's be honest here. It's not good, but it's not a train wreck either. It's pretty much a you get exactly what you expect movie.
Right.
There's you know."
And you're saying that I already forgot the name of the fourth. We'll call it the fourth movie, but you're saying that was a train wreck.
Oh yeah, and I can't remember if it was called the Honorable Mr. Dundee or the Excellent Mr. It was garbage though. He was playing himself in it. Like it wasn't like the fourth Crocodile Dundee. It was like he was himself.
But he was playing himself.
And I think he was
famous of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all right, let's predict.
Okay.
What's your prediction? Prediction? Yes, prediction.
And remember, my friend, future events will affect you.
Thank you, Criswell. We're ready to predict. Hey, we got some people here. Gary says, "Why don't I do some giveaways on the YouTube channel?" We have been. We've been doing giveaways. CJ T-Rex is here. Good to see you, CJ T-Rex. And Lisa's here. Hi-ho Joe and Not So Joe. Flame USPS. My Muppet movie El Paya is taking 3 days. Yeah, well, there you go. And CJ T-Rex says that his mom loved Crocodile Dundee. So there you go. What movie is worse, Honorable Mr. Dundee or Dumb and Dumber when Harry met Louise? Oh, easily the Honorable Mr. Dundee. I enjoyed the hell out of Dumb and Dumberer. That movie. Did you see Dumb and Dumberer?
Of course.
Did you like it?
The melting chocolate scene.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best scene with Bob Saget. You put shit on the walls. You put shit on my walls. I laughed. I was in stitches in the theater. Like I think my girlfriend, I think she thought she was gonna have to perform CPR or something because I was like dying from laughter in that scene. Much better film, by the way. Dumb and Dumberer, much better film than Dumb and Dumber 2.
Well, I disagree, but
well.
Either way, I by no means banish either film.
See, I know who CJ is. CJ is my old buddy Courtney. Good to see you, Courtney. Good to see you. All right, so we got some predictions. Let's start with, and I think you said you haven't seen the trailer yet. We got a trailer this morning for the movie Pray, which is obviously a movie about spirituality and church and saying your prayers. No, it's Pray with an E. P-R-E-Y. I can spell. Pray is. Do you know about Pray? Like, did you see the first trailer? Because there was like a little tiny teaser.
Yeah, I saw the teaser. I saw the announcements. Like I've followed along behind it. I just for whatever reason haven't seen the trailer yet. I believe it's is it a Predator prequel or is it just in that franchise?
Right, it's a Predator prequel. It's basically Predator 6.
Okay.
But it's a prequel to Predator, which I gotta say I like that title because we had Predator and this is Prey. I don't know, it goes together very nicely. I like it
so much better than Predator again or Predators or Predators again.
Yeah, because we already had Predators where they added an S.
They've already done both stupid things. Yes.
Right. The Predator where they just added the word the. I gotta tell you, the last film in the franchise, The Predator, a lot of people did not like that movie. That movie was just trashed when it came out.
Was that the Topher Grace one?
No, that was Predators. The Predator was the one. It took like.
Okay. I see. I haven't seen that one. That one's. You're talking semi-recently, right? Last 3 years?
Yeah.
4 years?
It was the Shane Black one. Shane Black made it, and people really hated it. And you know what? Because it had a sense of humor. It was it was more of a comedic Predator movie. Wait a minute. You will hate it. You will hate it.
Oh God, Joe, don't
He's
tell
in
me.
it. He's in it.
Oh, he ruins
He's in it.
everything. See, now I can't. I just can't. I can't even, Joe. I can't with this guy.
To those who don't know, we're talking about Keegan-Michael Key, Jacob's favorite actor.
Oh gosh.
So it did take it was a 2018 release, and it took a more comedic approach.
18. Okay.
I really enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people were like, they turned it into a comedy. But my argument is this: it was Predator 4. I mean, how much can you do the same thing? Like,
You're right, no
yes, we
shit.
get it. He comes to town. He
kills people.
hunts. Yeah, he's a hunter. It's like they'd already done it 3 times. Technically, they had already done it 5 times if we
Right.
count the 2 Alien versus Predator movies. So it's like anytime you want to like try something a little different, I'm down for it. And I enjoyed the crap out of it. And I think I just enjoyed it because I was willing to go with the new direction, whereas a lot of people were not and were like, that's not what I want from Predator. But now it's going direct to Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a prequel about a Native American girl being hunted by the Predator. Or actually, the title is Prey. Is the Predator being hunted by her? Is that why it's... I don't know. Like, we see her hunting a bear, and then the Predator gets involved, and then I don't know. I'm in. No, I'm
sure.
I would pay to see this in a theater. So if it's going to be free on television, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it. So I'm totally there for this. And I got to tell you, I'm shocked they got me interested, because I kind of felt like, I've said this before, I kind of felt like, haven't we said all there is to say about the Predator and the Alien? Like, what more about Alien or Predator can you do that hasn't been done already? So
Right.
I'm a little...
Including literally making them fight each other.
Right, exactly.
You know, and I actually... So, when did Predators come out?
Predators, I want to say 2010.
2010.
Let me check my memory on that. Am I right? Predators was 2010. Yay, I got it.
Right. So that's... I thought that was the latest installment. So it's we've had one since. I'm actually behind. So I tend to like the Alien movies more. But I haven't seen... What was the last one of that? Covenant? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Prometheus, so I haven't seen Covenant, and I haven't seen The Predator. So it seems like I have to do a one of each real quick before I watch Prey. Although I'm sure they're not any type of interconnected, as far as continuity, since they're all over the place Predator wise.
Right. Yeah, I need to rewatch them, because I haven't seen Predators since it was in the theater. But I remember liking it. I remember thinking this is pretty good. And Alien Covenant, I remember that was the movie where I sat there thinking, haven't we seen this before? Like, when you go to an Alien movie, it doesn't matter what the Alien movie is. Doesn't matter if Ridley Scott's back or if it's a new director. It doesn't matter. You know you're going to have a group of humans. We know they're going to find a bunch of alien eggs. We know one of the eggs is going to hatch. We know a face hugger is going to get on one of them. They're going to go, he has a thing on his face. And then we know an alien's going to burst out of the chest. I mean, it's like, it's at the point now where it's like, I just don't know what you can do with that format that hasn't been done already.
Right.
You know, hey, prove me wrong. If someone's got a really original idea for an Alien movie, I'm in. But I don't know what that would be.
Right. Well, and I feel like Covenant was supposed to be a trilogy, maybe, or Prometheus, Covenant, and then a third movie. I'm not sure.
Right, but Prometheus was, honestly, we're lucky we got Covenant, because Prometheus was considered a disappointment. But it's like they were like, okay, we'll have faith. It's Ridley Scott. We'll go ahead. And then they did Covenant. And then again, Covenant was a box office disappointment. And on top of that, not only was Covenant a box office disappointment, but then Disney bought the studio. So
Right.
I think that was the 1-2 punch that was just like, all right, well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's for now.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm watching Prey. I'm watching Prey the day it drops. How about you?
Yeah, more than likely. If not day of, week of, etc. This is one of the more like I'll watch this day of than like a, because we've talked about other Hulu exclusives. You know what I mean? Like this is more towards the top of like I could watch that. And like I said, I highly doubt I'm going to be bothered continuity wise, so I'm just going to watch it, even if I haven't seen the others.
I haven't even watched many Hulu exclusives when it comes to movies. Hulu movies, I think of all the streaming services, I've probably watched less Hulu movies than any of the others. Like I haven't watched a single Peacock movie. So, in fact, I think the only Peacock movies they made were movies about what's that show about the guy who pretends he's a psychic? Psych. Yeah. They made movies about Psych, and I've never seen the series. And I know people say that's a great series. You got to watch that. And one of these days I will. I'll check out that series. But they make,
I think they made 3 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, they made like a bunch of Psych original movies. But having not seen the series, I didn't bother to watch the movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they do a lot of. They did a few of the day and date, and I know they did a few. I mean, their stuff is coming to Peacock very rapidly, Joe.
Yeah.
Like some of the universe. I'm hoping and cross my fingers that the bad guys will show up on Peacock.
But that's the weird thing. Peacock is either really fast or incredibly slow. There's no in between because the Northman and what was the other thing that just went to Peacock really fast? Ambulance. They've been getting a lot of these movies really quick. But my kids in December, I took my kids to the movies at Christmas time to see Sing 2, which is a Universal film. It's Illumination. Illumination did that one. And my kids loved Sing 2. They adored that movie. And I've been waiting for it to come to Peacock. It was Christmas time. That movie was out. It's still not on Peacock. I'm like, what? How come Ambulance is like, oh yeah, this movie's been in theater for 3 weeks. Here, it's on Peacock now. And Sing is like 6 months after its theatrical release, you still can't get it on. I don't know what Peacock's doing. They're like no in between with them. It's one extreme or the other.
Well, and I think it's more consistently been on Peacock. Like the 355 went to Peacock very quickly.
Yeah.
Redeeming Love, which we talked about here, went on there fairly quickly. Is it called The Outcast or The Outpost? That just went up on Peacock fairly quickly. So maybe it's just the animated. I don't know. I don't know the logic, unfortunately. Or maybe it's an Illumination deal.
And that's the other thing. I thought, well, maybe they have because we know Fox had a pre-existing deal with HBO. I'm like, well, maybe Sing's going to show up on HBO, but didn't show up there either. So I don't know. But we're getting a little off track here. As long as we're talking about online streaming movies, let's talk about another one that dropped a trailer this week. And the movie premieres in like 3 weeks. Like no time at all. Like there's no wait for this. But we just got a trailer for Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which is an exclusive Paramount Plus movie. And I'm excited. I loved Beavis and Butthead Do America, the original 96 movie. I used to watch the TV show. I was never crazy about the music videos. Like when they would make fun of music videos, like I'm like, but the stories, like when, they would get into wacky hijinks, I enjoyed that. Yeah. I'm going to watch this is again, the day it drops. I'm watching Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. It looks like the story has Beavis and Butthead becoming astronauts, which it's like, how the hell does that happen? Why would the space program ever let Beavis and Butthead?
Hey, Homer Simpson and Barney Rubble were candidates.
True.
With Homer actually going, so anything's possible.
No, there's a question for you though. You're a bit younger than me. Yeah. Actually, you're like half my age. I don't even know that you were born when I was watching Beavis and Butthead. Or if you were quite young. Did you watch Beavis and Butthead? Is this something you have an interest in?
So yes and yes. So I mean, honestly, I missed the boat. With Beavis and Butthead, I believe they're off the air the first time when I started watching it. But then, if you recall, and you specifically will recall because you're a physical media collector, they did the Mike Judge's greatest hits in the mid to late 2000s. You remember those, the DVD releases of them?
Yes.
The remasters. So that was my first exposure to them. I believe I had all 3 volumes. I have the complete series, or I did. It's on the shelf over there. So yeah, I'm a fan. I've seen Beavis and Butthead Do America. And I actually really enjoyed which now not talked about even, that like very last season they did on MTV.
Yeah.
I was in high school for that. Yeah,
season. That was
the
20,
1 season revival.
Was that 2011? I want to say 2011.
Yeah, around there. Like I said, I was in high school. Yeah, 2011.
By the way, it was also announced this week that all the episodes, including the 2011 season, are coming to Paramount Plus. Now Beavis and Butthead is currently on Paramount Plus, but as we've discussed many times, it is one of those shows that has huge gaps, and they're gonna. It's all coming. Every episode, including the music videos and the Lost season, if we want to call it that. So that's here's one time Paramount Plus is stepping up on the missing episodes.
Right, there you go. And I liked that season. So I'm familiar with Beavis and Butthead, and then obviously it spawned some of Mike Judge's, just wackier ideas. Daria, King of the Hill, all are from Beavis and Butthead. So, yes, I will be watching this potentially day 1. I'm very excited about this. I'm excited that I still, for whatever reason, have my my insane Paramount Plus discount. So I'm getting this for dirt cheap. And also, I didn't watch it this week. I unfortunately got wrapped up during the weekend, but I believe on June 1st they dropped another Paramount Plus adult animated streaming movie in the South Park one.
Yeah,
which I have to get around.
South Park: The Streaming Wars. South Park, man, and from what I understand, I haven't watched it, but from what I understand, this movie makes fun of the fact that South Park themselves have
on 2 different.
Yeah. The series is on HBO and the movies are on Paramount Plus.
But I got to get around to watching that now. I'm an entire season behind on them, but again, I'm pretty sure continuity-wise, it's not going to matter. It's a South Park. So, but yeah, so both things in 1 month is pretty cool, especially as we've talked about for years now that like the adult animated stuff, I'm just super behind, Big Mouth and everything else. So.
Oh man, me too. I'm behind on everything. In fact, I just got hooked on a new show, which we'll talk about when we get to High Fives. That has put me more behind. It's like, oh yeah, there's another show that I'm watching. Great, but it's getting a high five, so you got that going for you.
So it's worth it though.
Yeah, I suppose. We'll get to that though. That's a little bit down the pike. So there you go. 2 original streaming movies coming this summer. Prey in August. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe in a couple weeks. Yeah,
less than 2 weeks from the day they're hearing this. It's the 23rd, right?
I think so. I can't believe Beavis and Butthead. Does the world need Beavis and Butthead right now? Is this like just things are so crazy?
Yeah, I think we've talked about that in our personal group chat. Like, is this a good idea? Like.
And Gary's pointing out that there's going to be a new Jackass show coming to Paramount Plus. So yeah, Paramount Plus, man. I don't like their back catalog. I think they're doing a really shitty job with their back catalog. But in terms of original content and getting big theatrical hits and new original series, they're kind of killing it right now.
Yeah, they'll have a good 6 months and they'll drop off, which we've discussed.
We'll see.
I think Top Gun will wait. I think Top Gun won't hit the streaming service before August. And their numbers will go up. And then I don't see anything else coming down the pike though from Paramount. Like honestly, in all honesty, I don't know of the next Paramount movie to come out, Joe, after Top Gun.
I'm not sure. I know it got pushed back, but what is the release date for Mission Impossible? 7.
Next year, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, is it early next year though? Is that like a Christmas I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's
some stuff coming though. So I don't know. We'll see.
I just think they top loaded everything. In all honesty, they had they did have some good months. Sonic and the Lost E and things I was interested in. But
they might pull out another Lost City. Like nobody saw the Lost City coming. That was a completely like, what the hell was that? And then and you and I even looked at it and said, this doesn't look like something that should go to theaters. Why isn't this going direct to Paramount? And then, boy, were we wrong. That movie made a killing at the box office.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad either. I enjoed it.
Yeah,
I watched it on the service. So.
In fact, I saw that movie a couple weeks after I saw Uncharted with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And I think they're similar movies. They're not completely the same. Obviously, the Lost City's got more of a rom-com feel.
Yeah.
But it is like, people like on this kind of exotic locations, go on a treasure hunt. So you got like that kind of similarity. I thought The Lost City was a much better film than Uncharted.
Uncharted.
So
now Uncharted is based on a video game, correct, or a series of?
Yeah.
See, and I really preferred Sonic too.
Anyway. To Lost City.
No, I just meant as far as comic book movies, video game movies. It's the highest grossing video game movie of all time, and we've mentioned that that's not exactly hard to do.
Yeah, the Sonic movies have been a lot of fun.
Oh man. And I gotta tell you, just from personal experience, not that I rewatch them on purpose. My son is just obsessed, but they're fairly rewatchable too. Like they're just fun. And Ben Schwartz as Sonic is great. His voice is not like, it's not pierced into my mind like if you've watched SpongeBob 24 hours a day.
You know what I think have been really pretty good video game movies that don't get a lot of credit, and I think they deserve more credit than they get.
Angry Birds.
I pretty much enjoyed. To be fair, I didn't see the middle one. I saw the first one and the most recent one. I didn't see the one that came in the middle, but I, for the most part, enjoyed both of the Tomb Raider movies that I saw, which was the first one with Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
I never saw the sequel, Angelina Jolie, and then the recent reboot from a couple years ago.
Right.
I thought they were solid. And I know everyone made fun of the Angelina Jolie one, like, oh, that was garbage. And I was like, I didn't think that was that bad. I mean, it didn't change the world, but especially in terms of video game movies, when you talk about how crappy they usually are, I thought that one was halfway decent.
Right. No. See, I've only seen the reboot. I haven't seen either of the Jolie movies.
I think the reboot was the better of the two.
Three.
Yeah, well, okay. I didn't see the middle one, but
oh, right. I gotcha.
Now, look, Gary is saying something that is not the popular opinion here. Gary is saying Tomb Raider Cradle of Life, which was the Angelina Jolie sequel, isn't very good. Now, oddly enough, the Tomb Raider, the Cradle of Life is generally considered to be a much, much, much better film than the original. They in fact, I think they have a word for it. I think they call it like the Tomb Raider effect, where your sequel is much better than the film that came before it, but nobody goes to see the sequel because they didn't like the previous film.
Got like Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Something like that, yeah.
Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is such a fun ride. Now, mind you, I haven't seen the first one.
I like the first one. I like the first one better, but I enjoy them both.
I really gotta watch the first one, but man, it's so fun. I don't think nearly enough people talk about how fun Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is.
Wait till you see the first one, man. The first one, I quote the first one all the time. There's so many quotable moments from that first Hot Tub. I was recently asked to name my like top 5 comedy films, and Hot Tub Time Machine was on my list for about a minute. Then I took it off because I forgot Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald, and I'm like, oh no, wait, Dirty Work, but
that means it was number 6.
Yeah, it probably would have been number 6. So, unless I thought of something else. So,
right.
All right. Getting away from trailers we've seen. Well, no, let's do one more trailer. We had a teaser trailer. You added this one. And I saw it. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. We got a teaser trailer for the Hunger Games prequel. Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yep.
I don't know. What are your? Well, the trailer is basically just the title. Like we said,
It's
the
the
title,
logo,
and
yeah.
showing some birdies covered in snow, and then a snake eats the bird. I mean, it's not much of a trailer.
Right.
But-
It's the definition of teaser. It's also November of next year. I was like, why?
Right.
Like, nothing wrong with the November of next year, but like, why the teaser right now? But whatever. But yeah, so this is actually, it doesn't happen often, but this is one of the books, like the day this book came out, I remember going to the store to get this book. My wife and I both read, no, my wife and I are fairly young. We both read The Hunger Games in college. Actually, she might have beat me to it. I think she read them in high school. I read them in college, actually, for one of my literacy classes. And so we were both neither of us have read it because that's how we are as people. We're more buyers than readers. But this is definitely something. They announced the movie, which is crazy because it shows how much money the Hunger Games movies made. That this was a book, like, man, I want to say, was this during COVID? Maybe it was the year before. I'd have to look, but I use my phone to record. I want to say this book is not that old, and it's already getting a movie like next year.
That's a line. Gary.
Oh, okay.
To those listening on the audio, Gary from Metro Obelisk Radio has given us a quote from the movie Hot Tub Time Machine. Ma'am, what color is Michael Jackson?
Oh.
So,
but it seems crazy, like how quickly they made a sequel, or how quickly they made the movie a thing. But I'm excited about it. I think I'm going to finally go out of my way and read the book first. But I liked the Hunger Games books. I liked the Hunger Games movies. So sign me up.
Yeah, honestly, this trailer did nothing for me because, well,
Right.
I mean, there's
It does
nothing to
for
it.
anyone.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. But and also, I think the title is awful. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I hate that title, but that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. You know,
Right.
Goodwill Hunting is a shitty title, and it's a good movie. So there you go. I'm gonna go see this. I'm definitely gonna go see it. I've seen every one of them in the theater. I read the original 3 books. I did not read this book, but
Right.
I read the original trilogy of books, and I'm invested in this world now. I don't know that I necessarily needed to see a prequel about President Snow. It makes me wonder. It's like is this the Star Wars prequels now? Because we had the Star Wars movies, then we had the Star Wars prequels, but we're like, now it's the villain's story. Now you're going to see how he became a bad guy. It's like, is that what Hunger Games are just doing now? But
Maybe.
I mean, look, you got my money. I'm going to go see it.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it's good and it's not a you know what I mean, a retread type of thing. Like,
Yeah,
okay, he won a game. Like, we saw that.
Well, that's kind of why Mockingjay. I prefer Mockingjay to Catching Fire. And I know that's a controversial opinion. A lot of people like Catching Fire a lot better. But I'm like, Catching Fire was kind of the same thing as the first one. She goes to the games again. It's like the first one was she went to the games. She survived the games. Then the second one was, guess what? You're going to the games again. And it's like, well, so I really appreciated the third book because I'm like, okay, well, this is something different. It's still in that world. It's advancing the story, but it's not kind of giving us a retread. So that I think would be one disappointment I have with this is that it's like, oh, we're going back to the games again. And it's like, okay, for the third time, we're going to get a movie about them playing the game. So.
Right. Well, the good news is it won't have Katniss Everdeen's character in it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's a game, which I don't have a problem with the Hunger games, but you know what I mean? Like, without the Katniss character, and like, hey, maybe this could finally be a game where one person wins. You know what I mean? Right. That was always the thing. It was like, oh, only one person has ever won, and then the first movie is, oh wait, there's 2 winners, and the second movie they mess up the games, etc. But I digress, especially because we know nothing about the trailer. All I know is that I'm excited. I have a level for excitement now, and it's going to motivate me to read the book, although I have over a year to do so.
Well, our next topic I have very little to say on. It's just according to Todd Phillips, we're getting a Joker 2. Joker 2 is apparently happening. We heard rumors that it was happening. I don't really know what to say about this because we don't know anything about it. We don't know what the story is. I've heard speculation online that it's going to involve Harley Quinn because someone pointed out that the script, because Todd Phillips sent us a picture of himself reading the script.
Right.
That he put it on Instagram. He sent a picture of him reading the script for Joker 2.
Yep.
And the cover of the script was red and black, which are the colors of Harley Quinn's costume. And a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, they're hinting at Harley Quinn." Well, maybe that's people reading way too much into this, or maybe they're onto something. I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about a Joker 2. I really liked Joker, but it did not.
Everybody did.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a movie that really lent itself to a sequel to me, though. Like, I don't know where. Here's the thing. They always said that Batman, they weren't going to use Batman. They always said, "Oh, it's just the Joker. We're not doing like we're not bringing Batman in." But I almost feel like, what more can you do in a Joker sequel other than bring Batman in? Like, we'll see where they. I mean, Todd Phillips is certainly a talented guy. He gave us a bang up first film. So, again, it's like I said with the Alien. I don't see where you go with another Alien film, but hey, prove me wrong. So Todd Phillips, prove me wrong. Go ahead and take my money. I'm there opening day, but I don't know how I feel about this.
Right. And to be fair, I mean, yes, they can speculate about Harley Quinn, but we literally just had a Batman film that was the theme of it was black and red. So, you know what I mean? Like literally, the Batman film we just saw was black and red. So I don't know. I tend not to read too much into it. Speculation at this point is insane. Right.
So Gary's asking if Joaquin Phoenix is going to come back because he doesn't usually do sequels. I kind of have a feeling he's probably already locked down. If they're going so far as to tweeting a picture of the script, I don't think you do that. Like, hey, guess what? We're making this thing. We just got to negotiate with the star. I don't think they would have made any kind of official announcement if they didn't already have him locked down.
And I don't think you do Joker 2 without Joaquin Phoenix in the first at all in any capacity.
But Paramount did on Star Trek Day this past year. They announced Star Trek 14 with the Kelvin crew. They were going to do we're doing Star Trek 14. Chris Pine and the entire Kelvin crew are coming back, and then all those actors came out and said, "Well, this is the first we're hearing about it." So none of them were under contract. Apparently, it's working itself out. Apparently, Paramount's been from what I hear, it's very, very close to being all put together. So it seems to have worked out in the end. But there's a case where the studio announced a project and did not have any of the cast on board. So you never know.
Yeah, which is kind of showing your hand. Who has all the moment or who has all the leverage in that conversation?
Exactly.
So that's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't even remember what the original topic was. Oh, Joker 2. Yeah, Joker 2's got my money. Hopefully, I mean, I'd like to see it. I don't know. As a fan of the conflict in the whole DC universe, I'd like to see him, not to say go against his word, but I just like to, let's fold Joker 2 into this already fucking weird DC universe. That's the other thing. Do we need a DC sequel film that doesn't belong in either the other canon as far as the Batman and the DC extended universe? Like,
I don't know.
You and I talk about how inconsistent they are, so it's just like,
can we talk spoilers about the ending of Joker? I mean, the movie's several years old now.
I would imagine.
To talk about that. Look, I'm going to talk spoilers for the end of Joker. If you haven't seen Joker, I do apologize, but it is a couple years old now. So here it comes. If you haven't seen Joker, turn down the volume or something.
you haven't seen Joker, go see Joker.
I got the feeling at the end of Joker that maybe none of it happened. Maybe it was all in his head. Maybe it was because he was in the mental institution, and I just thought that was a kind of a cool little ending where it was like, did this happen? Did this happen? Did this not happen? Is this real? And a Joker 2 kind of ruins that ending a little bit.
Right.
I don't know. Doesn't mean it won't be good, but
well, there's heavy speculation, and there's points behind, or there's I don't know what you call it, clues behind your point as well, as far as like if I recall the clock never changes. Like if I believe, now don't quote me because it's been years since I saw this, but like the clocks during the movie are always on the same time. Like, meaning that like he's telling a story and the time isn't moving forward because it's not actually happening, stuff like that. So it is intriguing, and maybe there is some fun stuff you could do with a sequel. That's why I said I'm intrigued more than I'm like, we don't need another this. You know what I mean?
right.
I just wish it was part of like, and I just realized that they did have Batman in the movie. He's just tiny.
He's a kid. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a wee lad.
This would like fold into like a Gotham movie more than a sequel to the Pattinson movie. I don't know, unless you just, what do you do, a sequel 20 years later? You know what I mean? Do you make him just older now and Batman's just Robert
and
Pattinson?
they already cast their Joker for the Robert Pattinson movie. It's the kid guy from the Eternals, which
I forget his name. Oh, damn it.
But we got one last item on predictions, and this is, I think, for me, this is a fairly big one. I guess, your mileage may vary as to how much you care about this, but Scream 5 came out in January, was a big hit for Paramount. Paramount immediately greenlit a Scream 6. Well, we just got word that Neve Campbell is not returning for Scream 6. Neve Campbell, for the first time ever, we will have a Scream movie that does not have Neve Campbell in it. Now, I got some thoughts about this. There was a horror convention this past weekend, and apparently she was quoted at the horror convention as saying she did not care for Sydney's, or the way the script treated Sydney. She thought Sydney did not get her due in the script. But then a couple days later, that is what she told people at the convention, reportedly, fans.
Mm-hmm.
Then she came out to the press and told the press that Paramount wasn't ponying up the money that she thought she deserved as a legacy character in the series. So we have one report that she didn't like her part. We have another report that she wasn't getting paid properly. What do I think this all means? I think she was going to be the death at the beginning of the movie. They always, open with a death scene, cut to the opening credits, and like it's the quote unquote Drew Barrymore scene. I think she was going to be the Drew Barrymore scene because Scream 5 introduced us to a character that they called quote unquote the new Sydney. Sam Carpenter is the quote new Sydney. She's our new protagonist. The whole fifth movie was about that. If you read the end credits in the first movie or the fifth movie, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette are given special appearance, and special appearances by, they're not even listed as the main stars of the film. So if we're doing a true passing of the torch and Sam Carpenter is really our new protagonist, then what better way to pass that torch totally than to off Sydney? And how do you off Sydney? Well, Scream tradition tells us that you open with a shocking death of a big star, and what would be more shocking than opening with Sydney's death? I think that's my guess. That's my guess, because it would explain A, why she wasn't happy with her part. She might have been like, they just want me to come in to die. And number two, it would explain why Paramount doesn't want to give her a lot of money. Paramount might be looking at it as, dude, you're shooting one scene. You come in for one scene. This is a day of work.
Right.
So that's my guess. Now, Jamie Kennedy, who played the role of Randy in the first couple Scream movies, he did an interview today where he said Sidney had a hefty role in the film. Maybe that's true, but what the hell does Jamie Kennedy know? He's not in the movie. I mean, his character's dead. He's not there. Does he know anything? Maybe he does. Maybe she called him. Maybe she talked to him. So according to Jamie Kennedy, Sidney did have a hefty role in the film, his words. But I don't know. Does Jamie Kennedy have information we don't? He wouldn't be in this film.
Well, that you know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, she's, by definition, the heart of the Scream franchise, but how many more stories can you tell with her? You know what I mean?
Also, why would she come back again?
Right.
Like she's moved on with her life. She left town. She's living somewhere else. She's got a family. She's got kids.
Right. I think a Scream movie without her will be fine. And it's funny because you mentioned it, the Drew Barrymore scene. Didn't this happen in Halloween Resurrection? Didn't they bring Jamie Lee Curtis back just to kill her in like the first scene?
They did, but I gotta say, I would have less of an issue with that in a Scream movie than a Halloween movie.
Mostly because that movie straight up sucked.
Yeah, and because Scream movies are built differently. Scream movies are part of the formula is you have an opening kill, and it's usually a big star. First time it was Drew Barrymore. Second time it was Jada Pinkett. Third time it was a legacy character. In Scream 3, and spoilers for a 22-year-old movie, it was Cotton Weary, who was one of our characters from the previous film. So that was kind of shocking because it's like, oh wow, they went and killed one of the legacy characters in the opening. And then the fourth one brought in a ton of stars like Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin, and I don't know. So it's kind of Scream tradition that you have a big kill in the opening.
Yeah.
That's not really a thing with Halloween. So with Halloween, it really felt like this is Jamie Lee Curtis fulfilling a contract. She had a contract that said she had to appear in one more movie. She came in, she shot her obligatory scene. Her contract was fulfilled.
Right. She got her money bounced.
Right. That it doesn't feel like it wouldn't feel as cheap to me if we had an opening kill for Sid, when that's the way that franchise is kind of set up.
Right. No, I think you're pretty spot on. And who knows? Stranger things have happened. It's not. I'd imagine the movie's not done yet. They could always come to an agreement.
Right. That's another thing. I still say she might be in this movie. This could be public negotiating where she goes to the press, complains, hey, they don't want to pay me, and then Paramount ponies up the money. The fans on Twitter are all like, we're not going to see Scream 6 if she's not in it. But we do have to remember too, it's not her franchise anymore. The torch has been passed. Sam Carpenter is now our protagonist, and Sam Carpenter and her sister Tara are both back. It was what's her name, Jenna Ortega. They're back, and so I don't know. It does feel like it's time to pass that torch fully.
Yeah,
so I don't really have I don't have a problem with Sidney Prescott not being in the film. In fact, maybe it's better she's not in the film, because if the plan was just to bring her back and kill her, while that is the Scream formula, have a big death. We followed this character for 5 movies. Maybe she's the one character in Scream we just want to get a happy ending.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, right.
I don't know. So, what do you think? You going to go see Scream 6?
Yeah, probably.
With or without Nev Campbell?
Yeah. Like I said, I think there's only so many stories you could tell with her. So, them not, bending over backwards and giving her gobs of money to do the 6th movie doesn't surprise me at all.
Right.
You move on, start anew. If 3, 4, 5, I don't know. There's always these gaps where all of a sudden the main star can come back. Halloween 2018. You know what I mean? Jamie Lee Curtis came back. Do something like that. Give them some time to breathe. Don't be in every. If you're in every movie, we don't get a chance to miss you.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm going to go see Scream 6 no matter what. And Courtney Cox said the script's great. Courtney Cox is coming back, and she raved about the script. She said Scream 6 is a great script. Now, it could be problematic if what Jamie Kennedy said is true, and Nev Campbell did have a really big part in the movie.
Right.
Because if you now have to remove a major character, that could tamper with the story. I mean, look at Rise of Skywalker. It's like, hey, we had to get rid of Princess Leia, who was going to be the main character. She was supposed to be the main character, and oops, she died. So I don't know.
Right.
Gary says, for Scream 6, I think it's time to resurrect the idea of Matthew Lillard being the killer. Remember, that was the original plan for Scream 3. Matthew Lillard himself confirmed it. That's true. The script for Scream 3 leaked. It went onto the internet, and the original idea was Matthew Lillard was plotting the deaths of these people from his jail cell. He survived, and he was in his jail cell. And they had to change the ending because it leaked. And I think the original ending would have been better, quite frankly.
What did the refresh my memory? What was the actual Scream 3? Is it the mother?
No, it was spoiler alert for a 22-year-old movie. It was the one where you found out that Sydney had a brother that she never knew about, and her brother was the killer. So,
Gotcha.
Which was kind of dumb. Scream 3 is still the only one in this franchise that I struggle with. I love Scream 1, 2, 4, and 5, but man, 3's rough.
3 is, yeah. I've only seen 2, 3, and 4 once a piece. Well, and 5 now. But one day I'll get to rewatch them all.
2 is my favorite. 2 of the whole series. 2 is my favorite. I think Scream 2 has the best scene Wes Craven ever directed. I think his finest work as a director is in Scream 2. And it's the scene where Nev Campbell's in the college play. She's in the play, and it's like a Greek tragedy. They're wearing these, the tragedy and comedy masks.
Yep.
And she's on stage trying to do her scene, but she keeps thinking she's seeing the ghost face. And it's not. It's just her fellow actors. But the scene is beautifully directed. I think it's Wes Craven's best work, that one scene. So yeah, I absolutely love Scream 2. Mike Bear says, I love Scream. Me too, Mike. Me too.
You know what's weird is I own the first 3 Scream movies. No, I'm sorry. I own the first 3 and the 5th Scream movie, but I cannot find, for a decent price, mind you, I'm sure I could find it, the 4th Scream movie on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's just everybody else is trying to get their hands on it, limited production.
It could be
shit luck. Who knows?
It could be. I wonder if it's out of print. I wonder
think
if
it is.
You know, because here's the thing: Harvey Weinstein, man, is in jail. The Weinstein Company went under, and that was the only film in the franchise that was released by the Weinstein Company. The first 3 were released by Dimension.
Right.
Then the 4th one was released by the Weinstein Company. And then the 5th one was released by Paramount. So it could be like one of those things like Dogma. Like one of the reasons Dogma's out of print is that Harvey Weinstein owns it.
Right.
And nobody wants to do business with him because for reasons. So
for good reasons.
Exactly.
But
that might be why it's so hard to find. I don't know.
I gotta find me a copy. Maybe a Goodwill, maybe a Pam ski. I don't know. I have a message out to Pam still because it's been on my wish list forever. I need to get a hold of that film.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
All right, appreciate it. Like I said, I've got the others, but
let's take let's move into something real quick here. I got a real quick mediocre for us. Okay.
All right.
Let's see, mediocre minute.
Ready? 1, 2. Mediocre minute. Mediocre minute. How was that?
Okay, mediocre minute time. I don't know if you and I haven't talked about this, so I don't know if this is something that was on your radar at all. But a 5-part miniseries popped up on Peacock recently called Angeline. Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this show, Angeline?
No, actually, I have not heard of this in any capacity.
Do you know who Angeline is? Because she's a real person.
No.
Angeline is someone who is famous for being famous. In the 80s, she took out billboards of herself and put them up around Los Angeles. And that's all she did. She put billboards up. And people then started to recognize her from her billboards. They're like, hey, it's Angeline from the billboard. And then because she was on billboards, she started popping up on TV shows and movies. Like people would put her in a movie here and there, things like that. She was in the movie Earth Girls Are Easy. But she was getting roles in things because she had billboards up for no other reason than she took billboards up. And it was always a mystery of who was paying for her billboards. Like where was she getting the money for these billboards? Who was she? Where'd she come from? Like these were things that were kind of a mystery. And they made a 5-part miniseries about her that is on Peacock. It's a docudrama. You know, it's not like a documentary. There's actors playing the roles. And I thought, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting story. This woman who, just stuck billboards up about herself and kind of like gained some kind of fame, and the story of like who did this, like where'd she get that money? Like, I thought it was an interesting story. Well, there's a reason it's on the Mediocre Minute. It's maybe 2 hours interesting. It's not 5 hours interesting. And I watched all 5 hours because by the time you get to, I don't know about you, by the time I get to like hour 3 and I know there's only 2 hours left and it's like, well, I've come this far. I better make it to the end because I'm so close. Like, why bail now when I'm right by the end? But it's just not that interesting. It's not interesting enough for 5 episodes. I can't recommend this. I think if you have any interest in who she was or, her story, just Google it. It's going to save you time because this miniseries really goes nowhere. And it's just not that interesting.
Interesting. I'm intrigued just because some of the questions you framed, but like you said, I was just going to Google it. I wasn't going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's the right move. That's the right move. This was time taken away that I could have been watching like The Boys or something. But being someone who's interested in pop culture and everything, like I'd heard of Angeline before. I knew who she was. I knew she appeared in Earth Girls Are Easy, but I didn't know her story. And I thought, okay, well, this is kind of a weird thing. This is kind of a weird pop culture thing. Let me find out more about this. And it's not worth it. It's not. It's like, for one thing, this miniseries tries to play it too cute. Like, she doesn't want people to know her story. The real woman. She doesn't want people to know her story. It was uncovered in a newspaper article several years ago what her real name is, where she was born, who she is. It all came out. But
sure,
that was not to her liking. She didn't want that out there. She wanted this quote unquote character that she created to be all that the world knew about her. So she's not cooperating in any kind of production like this. And as a result, they try to play it cute, and they have her like talking to the camera and breaking the fourth wall, but she's not telling you anything. She's not going to share information with you because she doesn't want you to know. So they kind of do this like cutesy thing where someone will find something out and then she'll look at the camera and be like, that's not true. He's full of crap. That's not. And I'm like, I'm not really like getting anything from this because you're trying to play it both ways. You're trying to like be all cutesy with the thing where she plays up her fake story, but no, this guy knows the real story. But then she'll do things like where she'll make characters disappear because they're telling things she doesn't want you to hear. So she'll just like imagine that they disappear and then they disappear. And I'm like, no, this doesn't work. Either tell the story or don't tell the story, but you can't like play it both ways. You're trying to be too cutesy with it, and we're 5 hours in, and this is just wasting my time.
Right. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Google it.
Yeah, but the Wikipedia page will tell you all you need to know.
Right.
So I say, don't bother with Angeline. And maybe this should be damage report. I don't know, because I don't know. I can't recommend this at all. So maybe I made the wrong call. Maybe this should be damage.
Well, that tells you what side of the damage or what side of mediocre it's on. Sometimes it's a higher mediocre, some of it's a lower. So
I see, that's the thing. There is interesting stuff in here. There's interest, like in these 5 hours. There's interesting stuff. There's not 5 hours of interesting stuff.
Right.
Edit this down into a movie. Take this 5 hours and edit it into a 2-hour movie, and you got something.
Right.
That's my tip. Longer is not always better.
Right.
Unless we're talking about the sweet, sweet penis of Manu Bennett.
Oh gosh. Can't get enough.
Always
every
comes
movie.
back. Always comes back to Manu Bennett's
Dog.
wiener. So yeah. All right. Should we switch over to high fives?
Yes, we should.
All right. It's the only thing you can do once Manu Bennett's wiener comes up is switch to high fives.
Oh gosh. I thought you meant high five it.
Code 5, repeat, code 5.
1, 2,
3,
4.
5.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. All right. Ed K says, have we seen Arlo the burping pig? I have not. I don't know what Arlo the burping pig is. Do you know what Arlo the burping pig is?
I do not, actually. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Or him or them.
Exactly. I'm sorry, Ed. I'm not familiar with Arlo the burping pig. He sounds talented though.
Does?
All right. High fives. I think all these are mine, right? You said you don't have anything for high fives?
Yes, correct. That is correct.
Well, I'm going to hit you with 3. I'm going to hit you with 3 high fives. Let's start with the season premiere of Seth MacFarlane's The Orville on Hulu. It's a Hulu exclusive now. First 2 seasons were on Fox. Now it's a Hulu exclusive. And let me tell you, I am shocked to be giving this a high five, because the first 2 seasons I have had a lot of issues with. I don't know if you and I have ever talked about The Orville before, but it's one of these shows that drives me crazy because it has been nothing but a ripoff of Star Trek, a complete ripoff. And when I say a ripoff, I'm not talking about just the concept. I'm talking about the actual stories told. Every story from the first 2 seasons of The Orville, I can point to the corresponding Star Trek episode that they stole that episode from. It's like they went dumpster diving for old Star Trek scripts. And it's one of these shows that I kept watching because I always thought it had potential. I'm always like, oh, this show's there's something here. This show could be great. It just needs an original thought. And it has none. It has not a single original thought. It's just recycled old Star Trek scripts. Well, the 3rd season premiere is the best episode they've ever done. I can't point to the Star Trek episode and say, well, they did this one. No, this felt like they finally told an original story for the first time in 3 years. It's a story about a crew member basically committing suicide. And that's another thing about The Orville. The Orville, it's the same premise as Star Trek. It's the exact same premise as Star Trek. We got a ship. We're exploring the galaxy. It's a military vessel, captain, crew. Yeah, it's just like Star Trek, but it had a lot of humor in the first 2 seasons. In fact, some people called it a parody. It was never a parody. More satirical, maybe, but not a out and out parody. And then as season 2 came on, the comedy kind of got a little bit sidelined and it became a little more sci-fi. And this season, apparently, it's just a sci-fi show. They've given up on trying to be like Waka Waka funny. And it's worked. It's really good. Now, I will say this. When I say it's a ripoff of Star Trek, it is a ripoff of Star Trek, but that's all right. Because sometimes ripoffs work. I remember there's a movie from 1986, very famous movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And in 1990, NBC created a sitcom called Ferris Bueller based on the movie. And the sitcom sucked. But over on Fox, that same year, a sitcom that was exactly like Ferris Bueller came on called Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And Parker Lewis was a complete ripoff of Ferris Bueller. But it was better than the Ferris Bueller sitcom. The ripoff was better than the name brand. So it's really all story. And the Orville, it's a complete ripoff of Star Trek. The problem is the stories haven't been good up till now. They've been recycled stories. But this year, season premiere shows a lot of promise. Finally, a good original story from this show. So hopefully they keep it up. I've been waiting for them to have an original idea. Looks like they finally did, and high five to them.
Yeah, for sure. So the Orville is the Seth MacFarlane show, right?
Right.
And it's got no.
Norm Macdonald was on it. Norm Macdonald was one of the crew members, and he's back this season. Like, he recorded his dialogue. I mean, he's an alien character, so he only does the voice. He recorded his dialogue before his death, so the first episode is dedicated to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but other than Norm Macdonald and Seth MacFarlane, I don't know that there's a lot of big names on this show that people would recognize. Adrian Pilecki, who was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is on the show. Some people might know her. Scott Grimes, who starred in the movie Critters and Critters 2. But not a lot of, no real big names.
It's funny because when I first heard, at least 3 years ago, that was the other thing I wanted to ask. So when I first heard of the show, I couldn't tell if this was just Fox's answer to Star Trek or if this was supposed to be a parody show. Like, because in my opinion, in my humble, I have no idea what Star Trek looks like opinion, it looks like Star Trek. It sounds like Star Trek.
The first season was basically Star Trek with dick jokes. I mean, it was like let's do Star Trek, but with the kind of humor we would expect from Seth MacFarlane. Right. Which it wasn't a sitcom though. It was an hour-long show. So they were doing like hour-long sci-fi stories, but with random gags. So it would be like you're watching Star Trek and they're leaving space dock and they're all at their stations, but one guy pulls up a Slurpee and is drinking a Slurpee at his station. Like, it's like jokes like that, like a lot of goofy little gags here and there. And as season 2 went on, Seth MacFarlane was like, let's pull back on the gags. I mean, we could still have some jokes, but let's make it just more of a sci-fi show, and sometimes we'll be a little silly. And then this season, it's just basically Star Trek, which I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with that at all, so long as you can tell a good story. And up till now, they haven't been.
Now, was the show off the air for a minute? I mean, like, I feel like
3 years. It has been 3 years since they last did an episode.
Okay, because the Orville came out it wasn't that long ago, but I feel like it was in and around when I was in school, so that's been a minute.
Liza says, I almost feel like the Orville was supposed to be a sci-fi show, but to sell it to Fox, McFarlane had to push comedy. That's almost exactly what happened. He wanted to make a Star Trek show. Seth MacFarlane's a huge Star Trek fan. He went to Paramount, or CBS at the time, said to CBS, I want to create a Star Trek spinoff. CBS was not interested. They're like, no, we're not going to let you create a Star Trek series. So he went to Fox and basically was like, hey, I want to create a show that's like Star Trek, but to sell it, it's like, but it's a comedy. And that's how they kind of got it on the air. Let me tell you how bad the Orville is when it came to ripping off Star Trek. This is how bad it is. In the first season of Star Trek Discovery, there was a character named Tyler, Lieutenant Tyler. And he was a Klingon undercover, a Klingon who had been surgically altered to look human. So he didn't know he was a Klingon. He was a sleeper agent. The Klingons had disguised him as a human, put him there, and he himself did not realize he was a Klingon. In season 2 of the Orville, they had a new crew member on the Orville. Her name was Tyler. And it turned out she was like their enemy race, and she had been disguised as human to like go undercover. I'm like, my God, you didn't even change the name. You did the same thing, and you gave the crewman the exact same name as Star Trek. It's like, come on, man. That's how bad the Orville had been in the first 2 seasons. So yeah.
That's wild. That is wild for sure. Imagine if it was some Disney Plus show siphoning off Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Probably
Right.
wouldn't fly.
So I'm hopeful that they finally found their footing and that this is going to be a good season. Now, for all I know, this week's episode could air and it could be like, oh, yeah, they're doing. That was a season 2 episode of Next Generation they're doing now. So I don't know. Maybe they've learned their lesson. Maybe they haven't. We'll see.
I mean, 3 years without any work, that could do it.
But speaking of Star Trek, the next thing I have on the high fives is the latest episode of Strange New Worlds. They did an episode called Spock Amok, and it's so good. It's one of the best episodes of Star Trek in years. I would say it's the best episode of Star Trek that we've seen since season 1 of Discovery. There was an episode of Discovery in season 1 called Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad that I think is the best episode of Star Trek that we've seen in years. But Spock Amok comes pretty damn close. This is an episode where Spock and his fiancée T'Pring, who was a character from the original series, accidentally swap bodies. They do a mind meld, a Vulcan mind meld, and they accidentally swap bodies. And it's hilarious. My wife and I just enjoyed the crap out of this episode. I would recommend you check it out. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you got Paramount Plus, Strange New Worlds, and one of the great things about Strange New Worlds is it's pretty episodic, so you don't have to see every episode. You tune into that episode, you'll have a good time. It's just fun.
All right. Now, remind me, you said season 4, or am I way off?
Season 1. They're
season 1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're episode 4. They just.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's too much Star Trek, man. I'm losing track.
Yep. Well, yeah, I keep saying, man, Strange New Worlds is the perfect Star Trek series to start on. If you've never if you've never watched Star Trek, this is the show to start watching Star Trek on, because it's so accessible to new viewers.
Right on.
It's really a good show, especially in that respect. All right, last thing I got for high fives. This is an Apple Plus TV show, Apple TV Plus, and I at first didn't like it. I got 3 episodes in, and I'm like, oh, why am I watching? I kept hearing it was great, but I watched the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, this is kind of dull. Then I got to episode 4, and now it's on the high fives. Severance. The show Severance on Apple TV Plus. It stars oh god, I'm blanking on his name. Parks and Rec. What's the guy from Parks and Rec?
Ben Schwartz, Aziz Ansari, Chris Pratt, Ron Swanson.
No. Ben. Adam. Yeah, I can't remember his name. The guy who married Leslie Knope. Ben from
Shit, what's his name?
Adam Scott. Adam Scott.
There you go.
Took me a minute. Adam Scott stars in this thing. Christopher Walken is on it. John Turturro is in the cast. Patricia Arquette. And it's a wild sci-fi show about people that work for this company that severs your personality into two. So you have the you that exists outside of the office and the you that exists inside of the office. But the thing is, they don't share memories. So when these people, like when Adam Scott leaves the office, he does not remember what happened to him that day at work when he's in the real world. Then when he goes back to the office, he does not know what happened to him in the real world. And the gag is he's being there's people there who are unhappy. They don't like this office. They want out, and they don't have the power to quit. Like there's one character who really wants out of the job. She does not like her job, and she has to petition her outside self to let her quit, and the outside self is refusing and saying, no, you have to do this job. It's wild. And by the time you get to episode 4, you're like, what the heck is going on here? What is it? It's an unfolding mystery. I'm on episode 5. There's 9 episodes. It's been renewed for a second season, but I don't know where this is going yet. All 9 episodes are now streaming, so there are people who are done the season. So if you've seen it, don't spoil it for me. I'm going to get there soon. But this show, it's a slow burn. The first couple episodes are a struggle, but my God, when you get to like episode 4, this show is terrific. So that's my last high five. Severance on Apple TV Plus. Have you heard of that one?
I have not. Now, my Apple TV Plus membership, well, my trial of Apple TV Plus membership ends the 17th, so I got to hurry up and sign up so I get 4 free months. But yeah, maybe that'll have to go on my list, man. It sounds intriguing.
I definitely recommend it. Can't wait to see where it's going, though. So that's all I got for high fives. Those are my 3 high fives: the Orville, Severance, and the most recent episode of Strange New Worlds altogether gets a high five, but this latest episode, Spock Amok, is one of the best episodes in a long time. Really good.
Okay.
So there you go. High five. All right. Well, I guess you know what time it is. You know what time it is?
I do.
It's almost the end of the show.
All right. I wasn't expecting that.
So there you go. Well, if you want to find us, first of all, if you'd like to give us any feedback, we love feedback. You can write to us, megapodtastic@gmail.com. You can call us at 610-624-1985, 610-624-1985. Call, give us a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want to find Megapodtastic on social media, it's Megapodtastic on Facebook, Megapodtastic on Twitter, Megapodtastic on Instagram, Megapodtastic on YouTube. And you can find me, Crazy Joe with a K, KRAZYJOE, on TV Time and Letterboxd. Jacob, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, everyone can find me at at all the social medias. Twitter and Instagram are going to be at _J2H, J2WH, TV Time, Letterboxd, and YouTube's are going to be J2H, just at J2WH. Yeah, at J2H. But yeah, go ahead and check out the stuff. Kind of a stagnant couple weeks as far as the channel and stuff goes, but hey, there's still all sorts of a back catalog and stuff. So yeah, check me out.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. I'm sure we'll be talking Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's coming down the pike this week, and
Miss
you and
Marvel,
I still.
we got
Neither of us have seen Top Gun yet. Everyone's talking about Top
Correct.
Gun. So Jurassic World's coming.
Jurassic World, the streaming wars. You know, I mentioned it. I was in their personal group chat. I was so excited. We didn't even talk about Twisted Metal today. So we got a show for next week. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, until next week, Grover Cleveland, you burn in hell, you son of a bitch, and keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone to meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the backdoor flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no,
it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.